Carnivore's Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. And today I'm going to show you how to make a really simple, lovely, lacy shawl that I call the Cloister Shell Shawl. And I don't have it in front of me because I already sold it. One of my coworkers commissioned me to finish it for her, and so I don't have it present. However, it is, of course, in the intro-outro of the video. And I used Karen Cakes to make that one that you saw prior. And that one was Karen Cakes, I believe it was Strawberry Trifle, which is kind of ironic because it's not pink, it's not red, it's more of a salmon peach color with the gray and the off-white. Absolutely beautiful. She loved it to death, and I wanted to show you how to make it yourselves. So let's get started, shall we? Now I'm going to be using for this it's Karen Cakes once again because I love the brand and I love the way the yarn changes color. And so for this one, this is the colorway Strawberry Kiwi. And yes, it has a very tropical bit of colorway going on here. Greens and oranges and pinks, and it's lovely. So we're going to get into that. And I'm using a size I crochet hook. And of course, you could use whatever works for you. Although, for me and my gauge, the I works best. All right, so let's get started. Alrighty, so to begin with, we're going to need a bit of a tail and a slip knot, as always, like so. And then we begin by chaining up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we do a double crochet into the first chain, right down in there. There we are. And then we do a chain of 3 and a double crochet into that first chain again. And that is quite simply row 1. For row 2, we start by chaining up 3. 1, 2, 3, turn the work. And then we do 7 double crochets into this chain space. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And it's always good to double check. 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay. Better to check and not make a mistake. All right, so then we need to do a double crochet into the top of this double crochet, making sure that you go underneath both loops of that stitch. Then you do another 7 double crochets into this chain space. That's 1. Oops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Double check the count once more. So that's where we join there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to do a double crochet into the 4th chain from the bottom. So let's see here. Just tighten that up a little first. All right. So the fourth one is 1, 2, 3, and fourth one's right here. If I can get into it, and I think I can. Sometimes you just need to scooch your stitches over just a little bit. Haha, got it. And there we are. So that, my dears, is the end of row 2. All right. After this, it's like child's play. Trust me. All right. So now for row 3, we start by chaining up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn the work. And then into this first stitch down in here, we're going to do a double crochet right into there. All right. And then we chain 1. All right. Then you're going to want to skip 2 of these double crochets down here. So that's 1 and 2. So into the third one, we do our next 3 stitches are double crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3, like so. So we did our chaining of 6, double crochet into that first one right there, chaining of 1, skipping 2, and then 3 double crochets right in here. Then we're going to chain 1 again, and then into this center double crochet, because we're going to skip another 2. We skip 2 over here, going to skip 2 over here. It's all about symmetry. So down into this center double crochet stitch, we're going to start with a double crochet, and then chaining up a 3, then another double crochet into that same stitch, then another chaining of 3, and then another double crochet into that same center stitch, like so. Then we do a chaining of 1, skip 2 of these double crochets down in here, so that's skip, skip into here. We do our 3 double crochets in a row, like so. Then we chain 1 again, and then we're going to do a double crochet into this last chain here. So into the third chain from the bottom, right up here. I know it can be a little tricky, but we can do it. So you do a double crochet into that first chain over here, then chain 3, and then do another double crochet into that same stitch. And voila! So we have some spaces here and up here. And that is the end of round 3. Now this is where it starts to repeat, because this is, in essence, it is a 2-row repeat. This one where we have all of our 7 double crochets going on in the spaces, and then the one that we just did where it's 3 double crochets separated, etc. And you'll see exactly what I mean, and I'm going to walk you through a couple of repeats so that you'll be sure to get it. All right? And then we'll carry on from there. All right, so for row 4, we start with a chaining up of 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn the work. And then into this space that we just created, we're going to do 7 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Chain 1, and then into the middle of these 3 double crochets, we're going to do a double crochet, like so. Then we chain 1 again, and then over here in the center, we have these 2 large openings here. So into this first one, we're going to do 7 more double crochets. All right. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to make sure I'm counting right. 1, 2, 3, 6. Good. Yes, and then 1 more for 7. All right, and then like we did before, we're going to do a double crochet into this center double crochet. There we are. Then 7 more into this space here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 3, 6, 7. Good. Okay. All right, then we chain 1, and we skip to the center of the double crochets out of the 3. Do a double crochet into that center stitch. Then we chain 1 again. And then into this last space here, we do 7 more double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, count is good. All right, then into the third chain, we're going to do our last double crochet. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So into the third chain, right there. Going to finish with a double crochet. And there we are. And that's the end of row 4. Now it looks a little wonky because of the color change, but before you know it, you won't even notice. You know, I mean, granted, you could of course cut your yarn and change your yarn and so on and so forth, but personally, I really like the job that this yarn does, so I stick with it. All right, so let's get on to row number 5. All right, so for row 5, we start again with a chaining up of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. turn our work, and again, I'm going to go back in to this first stitch with a double crochet stitch, because we're creating our loop just like we did in here. And then chain 1, and again we're going to be skipping this first 2 double crochets, go into the third with a double crochet, do 2 more, there we are, then we chain 1, and now into this center double crochet that we did there, we're going to do a double crochet, chain 3. See, this is how the pattern grows. So now we have a new opening over here. And then we chain 1, skip the first 2 double crochets here and here, go into the third, doing 3 double crochets across, like so, chain 1, and then into this center double crochet, we do a double crochet, chain 3, another double crochet into that same stitch down there, chain 3, another double crochet down into that stitch down there, and then going back the other side, we do the exact same thing. So we chain 1, skip the first 2 double crochets, and we go into the third with a double crochet, one more. Need to pull out some more yarn, if you'll excuse me. There we are. Chain 1, into this double crochet, we're going to do a double crochet, chain 3, and another double crochet, chain 1, skip the first 2 double crochets, and going into the third, do 3 double crochets in a row, like so. All right, chain 1, and then we're going to do a double crochet into the third chain of that one right there. There we are. Then we chain 3 and do a double crochet into that same stitch. Voila! See, it's really starting to take shape. So you can see how the repeat is starting to work. See, up here, we're going to fill this space and this space with 7 double crochets, and this space with 7 double crochets, and this one, and this one, and this one. And it's just going to keep blossoming out. All right? And we're going to get into the next row. All right, then. All right. So for row 6, I believe it is, we start with a chaining up of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Turn the work. 7 double crochets into this space here. And for those of you that are probably going to ask me in the comments if I have a written pattern for this, truth be told, I do not. Very much like the arbor shawl that I did, I only found a schematic, and it was in a foreign language. So I made do the best I could, followed the schematic and the pictorial diagram, and went from that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So no, I do not have a written pattern. But considering that ultimately this leads to being a 2-row repeat, you guys can totally do this. Once you get started, there's no stopping you. So I've got 3 and 7. All right, great. So then, going to chain 1, and then into this center double crochet, do a double crochet, chain 1, and into this space here that we created, as I said, we're going to be doing 7 double crochets. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, good. I always like to check. All right, then we chain 1 again, and then we skip to the center double crochet and do a double crochet into that stitch. Chain 1, and then we skip to this space over here, doing 7 double crochets. 1, oops, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yep. All right. Just gotta grab some more yarn. So also, because it was, as I said, in a foreign language, and I only had a schematic, I decided to call this the Cloister shell because of the structural way that this pattern is created, the architecture of the stitches, if you will, and I thought it had, a catchy ring to it. So we did our 7 in here, then we do a double crochet into that center double crochet, like so. Then we do 7 more into this space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Chain 1. Do a double crochet into the center double crochet. Chain 1. 7 double crochets into this space here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, chain 1. Once again, do a double crochet into the center double crochet of that 3, like so. Chain 1, and then 7 double crochets into the space at the end. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and, oops, 7. Yep. And then we do a double crochet into the third chain, 1, 2, and 3. Like so. Do a double crochet to finish off the row. All right. So as you can see, it's coming along nicely. All right, and let's continue with the next row. All right, so again, we start by chaining up of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn the work, and then do a double crochet into the first double crochet stitch at the base. Because again, we're creating our space for future use. And then we chain 1, and then we skip the next 2 double crochets going into the third with a double crochet. It's 1, 2, 3, then we chain 1, and then we have to expand this single, so we go in with a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet into that same stitch, like so. Chain 1, skip the next 2 double crochets, go into the third with a double crochet, do 2 more across this archway. There we are. Chaining of 1, expand that double crochet by doing a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next 2, go into the third with a double crochet, and then 2 more to follow. There we are. And then since we have reached the top of our piece, chain 1, find the center double crochet, and then stitch into it with a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet into that same stitch, chain 3, and double crochet into that same stitch. See? And then we chain 1, skip the next 2 double crochets going into the third, and then we do 2 more right alongside. Chain 1, expand the single with a double, 3 chains, and another double. There we go. Chain 1, go into the third double crochet once again, doing 3 double crochets total across, chain 1, expands the double, chain 3, and another double into that same stitch, chain 1, double into the third, 2 more to follow, chain 1, into the top of the chain here, do our double crochet, chaining of 3, and double into that same stitch. Alright, so you can really see the repetition going on, and just because I think I'm going to do a couple more rows, just because, even though it's really a 2-row repeat, I really want to make sure that you guys got it. Okay? Alright, so let's continue on. Alright, so we're going to start with a chaining up of 3, turn the work. Into this space here, we do 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, chain 1, double into the middle of the 3, chain 1, 7 double crochets into this new space here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Chain 1. Double into the middle of the 3. Chain 1. 7 into that space that we created, the expanded one that we did. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yep. Chain 1. Double into the middle double, the second double. There we are. Chaining of 1. And then we've got our 2 big spaces up here, so into the first big space we do 7 double crochets. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yep, right count. Then we do a double into this center double. Sort of anchors it in place. Alright, and then we do 7 more into the second large space. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right. Chain 1. Do a double into the second of the 3. Chain 1. 7 into this new space here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There we are. Chain 1, double into the second double, right in there. There we go. Chain 1, 7 doubles into this space here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, then another chain 1. Double into the second double. Chain 1. And then finishing off the row with 7 doubles into this big space at the corner. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we finish with a double into the third chain. 1, 2, and 3. So right into there. We do our double, and that locks it all into place and finishes the row. Ta-da! Another way that you could look at this is sort of like it's a mini virus shawl, because you have all of these little shells, these little mini bacterium growing in a sense, except this does not have quite so many rows for the repeat. To me, it makes it a lot easier. Also, if you look, these holes almost looks like it creates a 5-point flower in a sense, which I think is kind of nice. I don't know, I'm just weird like that. So we'll continue on with the next row. Alrighty, so we're going to start by doing a chaining up of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Turn the work and do a double crochet into the first stitch to create our large loop, as always. And then we chain 1. We skip the first 2 double crochets, go into the third. And then the fourth. And then the fifth. All right. Chain 1. And then we expand the single double crochet right there with a double crochet, chaining of 3, and a double crochet. All right. Chain 1. again, go into the third, fourth, and fifth, so skip 1 and 2, go into the third. And the fourth. And the fifth. Because we're going to skip 6 and 7, figuratively speaking. So we chain 1, expand this single double crochet once again, with a double, chain 3, and another double. Ta-da! Chain 1, go into the third, the fourth, and the fifth. Chain 1, expand the double, come on, behave. There we are. Chain 3, and another double in that same stitch. Chain 1, skip to the third, go into the fourth, and the fifth. We've reached the top again, my dears. All right, so we chain 1, and then finding that center one, we do a double. See, it's the center. Then we chain 3, do another double, chain 3, and do another double. Chain 1, skip to the third, which is right here, and do the fourth, and the fifth. All right, then we chain 1, expand the double, so that's a double, chain 3, and another double, chain 1, go into the third with a double, and the fourth, and the fifth. Chain 1, expand the double once again, so it's a double, chain 3, and another double, chain 1, go into the third, so it's 1, and 2, and 3, chain 1, expand this last double here, with, oh, come on, work with me, thank you. So we get a double, chaining of 3, and another double, chain 1, skip to the third, so that's 1 and 2 and 3, chain 1, and then we do a double into the top chain of this last one here, like so. Chain 3, and do a double in that same stitch. Voila. All right. I'm going to do, I think, one more row with you guys. And hopefully by now you're really starting to cook. All right. Alrighty, so we're going to do our chaining of 3. 1, 2, and 3, and turn the work. And into the space, of course, we're going to be doing 7 double crochets. Now, when you are doing your shawl, you can leave it with this edge if you like, or you could leave it with the edge that I'm going to leave it with right now. I mean, granted, this is just a sample piece, but personally, I like this edge more because you have the edge with the fans going on, and you'll see what I mean. And actually, it's how I ended the shawl that was shown in the intro. I just like the way it looks better. All right, so that's 5 and 6 and 7. Yep, chain 1, and then do a double into center there. Oops. There we are. Chain 1. 7 double crochets into that next big space that we have there. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Chain 1. Do a double into the middle double, like so. Chain 1. 7 more doubles into this space here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chain 1. Double into the middle double. Chain 1. 7 into the next large space. 1, 2. Hello. 3, 4, 5. Oops. 6. And come on. All right. Yes, that's 7. Very good. All right. Chain 1. Double into the middle double. Chain 1. All right, we reached our 2 big points up here, so it's 7 doubles. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a double into the center double right here. And then 7 doubles into the next big space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chain 1. Double into the center double. Chain 1. 7 doubles into the large space right here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Chain 1. Double into the middle double. I feel like I'm losing my voice. That's a chain 1. 7 doubles into this next space here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, chain 1, double into the middle double, chain 1, 7 doubles into that big space there, 2, 3, 4, 5, there, 6, and 7. Chain 1, double into the middle double, chain 1, and last but not least, 7 doubles into that big corner space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then, of course, a double into the third chain from the bottom, like so. All right, my dears. So, I think after doing a number of repeats with you, that this really gives you an idea of how the pattern works. Just basically, like I said, it's a 2-row repeat, and once you get into the swing, you really can get it. And I mean, of course, if you don't like, if you have, say, just a little bit of pink at the very beginning, and it's, not a sufficient enough, it's not a sufficient amount, if you're using the carrot cakes, what I have done is actually cut out the very beginning color if it's not enough. So you would start with just the green and have a more substantial point here. And the reason why, out of the yarns, and no, I am not sponsored by Karen Cakes at present, although I'd like to be. The reason why I like using Karen Cakes with this particular pattern is because of the color change, because it's going to change color, as you saw in the intro, that it's going to go in a V shape as it grows, and that I find is really beneficial with patterns that start at the top middle of the pattern, as opposed to patterns where it starts at the tip down here and it goes back and forth like this and it creates stripes, which I did do in my pineapple shawl video. However, these I love the way that this works with the construct. So listen, I really hope that you liked this tutorial and of course that it made sense to you, because hey, you guys can do this. I know you can. So if you have any questions, comments, please comment down below. I love hearing from you guys, and your comments are always so welcome and so delightful. And if you haven't hit subscribe already, please do so, because I try to post videos as often as I can, whether it's crocheting, knitting, or audiobooks. All right, so until next time, stay inspired, stay caffeinated, and above all, stay stitching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.